Hello everyone. Let me start by thanking Maltepe University, Faculty of Fine Arts and Conservatory of Music for allowing me this time to give me this opportunity to address you. What an honor and what an amazing subject, life without or with art. It's an interesting question and a wonderful question to discuss, especially if you are like me, an engineer. Of course, we can go into an academic conversation, but this is not my interest. My interest is to give you an opportunity, a glimpse into my world, the layman's world, the working world, and how art plays a role in this entire capacity. When I think about art, I think about creativity. And I think this is where everything starts. And when I think about creativity, the first name that comes to my mind is Sir Ken Robinson. He was an amazing educator. Bless his heart, he passed away. And he was an educator at the University of Warwick. He was a professor of art education. And I had an opportunity to listen to him speak one time. And something he said left an impression with me, and I'd like to share that with you. When he was a young teacher, when he first started his career, he taught all classes. And his students were young. They were third graders, fourth graders, and they had all different interests. But there was one student who had no interest in any subject, and this became his interest, to try to understand how he was going to capture this particular student's imagination. One day, when it was the art class, he realized that this student was very busy. They were drawing with tremendous passion. So he went up to the student and said, "What are you doing?" And the student said, "I am drawing a picture of God." He said, "Wait a minute, nobody knows what God looks like." And without any hesitation, the student answered, "They will in a minute." This is the spirit. This is the spirit where creativity starts, and this is what we need to give attention to, because this small example carries us throughout life. And I am a good example of this because I applied this type of thinking in my factories. At one point in life, I was a manufacturer of building materials, and I had factories around the world. And one of my factories, the specific one in Mexico, was an amazing operation. There were 5 shifts of workers coming through. It was a very busy operation. And my whole thought was, how can I make this environment the best environment to work in and the most productive environment? So I thought about, how about a human touch? We start with labor. Machines, okay, we can adjust machines, but how about people? So I thought, when I wake up in the morning, I wake up in a different mood. I wake up happy, but some days I'm less happy, some days I'm more happy. So I thought, some days I don't want to go to work, some days I want to go to work. But this affected my day, how my mood started in the morning. And I had an opportunity to test, if I had an opportunity to test the mood of people when they showed up to work, this would really help me in organizing the most productive environment. This was my thought. Well, in the factory, when you come in, there's a board and you have a card, and you pick up your card and you go to a punch clock, and you punch the clock, and then you put the your card into another board, and then at night when you're leaving, you do the same thing in reverse. Well, I thought this is a great opportunity. When they come in, they can tell me how they feel. So I wanted to give them an opportunity. How did I do this? I had one board where all the cards were hanging, and then there was the punch clock, and then there was another board. Well, I changed that board. I made 3 boards. One of them I painted red, the other one yellow, and the other one green. Red meant, I don't want to be here today. I just don't want to work today. Yellow meant maybe, and green meant I am ready to go. So when I did this, human resources told me, you're an idiot. Nobody is gonna ever put a card in red. Everybody is going to put it in green. Who wants to take a chance to be fired? I said, you're right. But one person will do it. One day they will do it. And that's the day I'm looking forward to. And it happened. One day, everybody was excited. They came to me and they said, we have a card in red. I said, great. So I walked up there, I picked up the card. And when I picked up the card, I saw the worker walking towards me, a lady. And without even saying a word, she said, why don't you go ahead and fire me? I know you're going to fire me. And I said, no, that's not the intention. The intention is I want to find out why you don't want to work today. And she said, look, I am 20 years old. I have 3 kids, no husbands around, and my mother takes care of the kids while I'm at work. And all my kids, including my mother, they're all sick. And I'm not feeling well myself. And here I'm at work because I have to come to work. So this is why I want to let you know that I don't want to be here today. I said, wonderful, so come with me now. And we went to her home. We found, we called a doctor. We got the medicine and the help they need. And I told her, I said, today you're going to get paid full day's work, as if you were at work. And you can do whatever you want. You can stay with your kids, you can stay with your mother, or you can come back to work, but I really don't want you to be on the floor. You can do something else. She said, okay, I want to come back to work. I said, what would you like to do? And she said, why don't you give me a pencil and some paper and leave me alone? I said, okay, it's perfectly fine, understandable. So she went to the cafeteria. She sat at one of the tables and she started drawing something. And she drew this amazing illustration. That was her work that day. And at the end of that illustration, I asked her, I said, what were you trying to do? She said, I drew a picture of my mood today as a reminder to myself, as a reminder of this day where you paid attention to me, and as a reminder to everybody that if they ever felt that way, they could learn from me. So she wanted to communicate through art. And that was my happiest day in the factory. Because through that experience, I was able to expand that factory into a lifestyle. We had an art gallery in that factory. We had a nursery. We had a laundry room. We had a music room. We had a library. All of these things came through this process. But the key factor here was her method of communication, and it was art. It was through art. That's where she wanted to speak herself. And those words meant a lot to me, meant a lot to the workers, and it was a very soft way to touch people and to explain ideas. So when I think about this topic, life with or without art, look at this experience. How could you possibly imagine life without art? And what happened at the end of this process is also very important, because throughout this process, I realized creativity in the workplace, the thoughts, the systems, and the way that people communicated, it renewed motivation. Everybody was more motivated. And it promoted clarity. People understood what they could, what they couldn't do. Before this process, they had no voice. With this process, they had a big voice. And they started thinking critically, critical thinking. This was major in a factory setting. They started seeing the big picture because they understood everybody's feelings and thoughts and ideas and how it interacted with each other. And Our productivity went sky high. People couldn't believe it. Other companies wanted to come and see what we were doing and how we were doing it. We had 40 people waiting outside for somebody to be fired so that they could come in and start working. It was amazing. And it also promoted an amazing environment of positivity. And this is what you need when you're in a working environment. You have to think positively. And also it created a tremendous environment for logical reasoning. Because when in the creative process, all of these things come about. And through art, you share this value. And so this is my experience of how art plays a tremendous role in our lives and how it has to be integrated and how we cannot think of our lives without art. So in conclusion, I'd like to leave you with some suggestions that I've made to others. You have to have art in your life. You have to think through art. You have to think of art as if you're brushing your teeth. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, but you look at an object, you look at anything, you see, you hear a voice, you have to understand its philosophy. And only you can do that through art and through your creative process. So some of my suggestions, time to time, go outdoors, walk around, see what is outside, see and understand that you are a part of something much bigger than yourself. This is important. Daydream. You have to daydream. Just like that student who wanted to show us what God looked like. You have to daydream. That's where it starts. Sometimes keep a journal. Some people keep a journal in figures. Some people keep a journal in words. Some people keep a journal in poetry. Keep a journal because it's a reference point. You go back to it, you read, you see progress in your life. And make sure you start thinking bigger through artistic activities. A personal example, I am now 64 years old, and last year I started playing the trumpet, and I love it. And I suggest you the same. Once in a while, another suggestion is, once in a while, take a nap, out of a blue. Clear your mind so that you can start thinking more clearly and bigger and more creatively. Always take a step in the positive direction. This is very important. And when you do it all, the most important of all, take time to meditate. Because through that, your creativity will turn into a product. And that product will turn into your lifestyle. And that lifestyle will be a happy lifestyle. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I thought this was worth sharing, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.